I hit the ground this week with a lot of pre-production for a large live stream shoot that we've got next week. We're broadcasting a masterclass, which will be comprised of a main room where we'll have a keynote speaker, and then 2 smaller breakout rooms for later in the day, all which require cameras as well as laptops to broadcast the signals out to the various participants over Zoom. Planning is so important when it comes to live production because there are so many moving parts, from live presenters, live camera switching, virtual participants, as well as pre-recorded assets, that having a detailed run sheet outlining what's happening when is super important. Here I'm just building out the OBS project for the live stream to correspond with the detailed run sheet that Rob has put together for the team to use as the source of truth for the day of the live stream. Since we were using Zoom and its webinar functionality, I wanted to test how the local recording was versus the cloud recording. Since I haven't used the webinar function that much before, I really wanted to get my head around how everything works so that we're able to provide our client with the best result. In my initial testing, I felt that using the cloud record would give us the most flexibility because it records both a speaker view as well as a gallery view and shared screen view, all as separate video files, which I thought might come in handy. And then we would record locally in OBS as a higher quality recording. I don't get out to many industry nights, but the ACS had an industry night where Blackbird would have the Mantis on display, which looks like a really cool piece of kit for those who own an Easy Rig. And it's something that I've been really interested to check out ever since it was announced. I didn't film myself using it because it was a pretty small room and I felt pretty self-conscious about filming in there, but I did get some footage of the Agito dolly with the shot over G1. On top of all of the pre-production that we've been doing, I had a handful of meetings for a few other different live streams that will be happening next week as well as the week after. So I spent a bit of time in meetings on Microsoft Teams to work out the finer details of those shoots. I feel like I've been working on this one video idea for the last little while, and I just haven't really had the time or motivation to finish it. And that's mainly because I think for me, the hardest thing with putting together longer form videos that aren't vlogs is the overlay portion of it, because since I'm filming a lot of this by myself whilst also being the primary talent, there's a lot of back and forth that happens in terms of setting up the camera, filming it, checking the footage that I get, and if I'm not happy with the way that it looks, then going back and resetting everything. And in terms of all of that, there's a lot of back and forth that happens, which can be really time consuming, especially when it comes to lighting and things like that. But I wanted to build a rig that would allow me to capture some more dynamic shots for this new video with minimal friction to the creative process. This was the rig that I put together to capture those filter shots. And I was inspired by Jack from Western Approaches because I saw him in a video use a Titan 2 arm to mount his phone to the front of the camera. And I've done something kind of similar in the sense that I'm using a bunch of Ultra arms and then a phone mount at the end there to get it far enough out in front so that I can see the front of the lens. It works pretty well. I've got it connected to the wooden camera universal DSLR cage. There is a little bit of flex in the top just because, if you can see here, just because the top plate is only mounted to the base by this 15mm rail here. So the weight of the Ultra arm flexes the top plate a little bit when you hold the handle. But as long as I'm not kind of juddering around and running with the rig, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And it allows me to get some kind of fun, more dynamic shots of product and things like that. So thanks to Jack for inspiring me to put something together like this. Alrighty, let's go around the grounds and do a bit of a sound check. I'll start with you, Jackie. Can you please tell me what you have for breakfast this morning? That's all for this week's vlog. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.